Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust 2 video. Now a lot of you guys have asked me, GuitarRock, please make more guides of this game. Hopefully today I'll start off with a different guide, combat system. Hopefully you guys are able to enjoy this game by not using auto, by using manual. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the combat system in this game. A lot of you guys probably are playing on auto right now and you're not trying to understand the combat system as much. But what I do like about Brown Dust 2 is probably going to be the combat system, how you want to configure your characters and make them move at once. Now keep in mind, this game is not a turn-based game. So the moment you move, the entire group of your character will move at once. You can use up to 5 characters for now. I'm not sure if later you'll unlock more slots, but 5 characters is going to be how many characters you are able to bring into battle, and enemies will have up to, so far I can see, sometimes 7, sometimes 8 characters. Enemies seems to will be able to have more characters overall. Now, if you play the first Brown Dust or Brave Knight before, the concept applies, a lot of the same things apply, right? So this is how you are placing your character in order. So if you place it like in this case, Celia will move first, followed by Justia, followed by Rubia right here, followed by Carlson, followed by Arenes, etc, etc. Now, one important thing that you want to always keep in your mind, always put this in your head: supporters first. Alright, supporters, buffers always go first. If you are buffing your characters, you are buffing your units, you want them to go first. In this case, let's say Arenes. Let's say I want her to buff my entire cast of characters by using this particular skill. Alright, you can see, by using this skill, this increase attack by 35%, increase crit rate by 30% for 6 turns. Now obviously you want her to be the most top, you want her to move first so that everybody gets the buff first before they move, right? You don't want to put her last. If you put her last, that means they are moving first and then she will buff afterwards. Doesn't make sense, right? So this is going to be the rule number 1. Always remember, whatever supporter that you have, alright, regardless of supporters, healers, if they are moving the next turn, your characters are damaged, you want to heal your characters, make sure they are going first. Alright, always apply this rule. Now, you can see Arenes has, all of them will have 3 options depending on how many costumes you have, right? For example, just right here, I have more attack range option because I have multiple costumes. So Arenes is going to move first. Let's say if I'm using the buff, notice she consumes 2 SP and 3 cooldown. Cooldown means 3 turns to cooldown for this skill, but her buff does last for 6 turns, so that's not a big problem. But the SP is going to be the important one. So what does SP do, right? So let me go and use only skills. So if I click on this, notice there's these 2 dots right here at this part, right? It consumes this dot. This is going to be your SP bar, and certain characters can fill your SP. If I'm not mistaken, there's a few 3 stars. There's a couple of 4 stars that can actually refill your SP. So look out for those characters as well. But in this particular battle, you can see Arenes consumes 2 points, right? So that's already 2 points. I'm going to buff everyone. So I'm also going to try to look at the enemy. And then I'll have my Justia move afterwards. I can either do that or I can use Celia in this case. With her huge AOE, it makes sense for Celia to move first. You ideally want your huge AOE characters to move first because they are able to hit in a bigger area, so weaken the enemy. Celia is going to be much more of a character that weakens the enemy rather than one-shots the enemy. So it makes a lot of sense for her to move after Arenes. You buff and then she's going to move afterwards. Remember, she's a skip, so she's going to hit one character behind. So if I place her in the middle tile, you can see she's going to hit this soldier, which is a skip, right? So if I place her here, this guy is right here. There's only one character on this tile, so she can only hit this guy. But if I place her on the top tile, in this case, she will hit this character at the back. So to maximize her range, you can see this is a 3x3 range, right? 9 tile range, which is insane. Putting her in the middle makes a lot of sense. You can see she hits all of these enemies. She's able to KO these 2 enemies as well. So something to keep in mind. So getting rid of these 2 enemies is very, very important. Now after she gets rid of these 2 enemies, you need to try to imagine in your head, the next character that move after Celia will be attacking like the rest of the soldiers, right? In this case, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, because these 2 will be dead, right? So I'm going to use Rubia in this case. My Rubia hits in this very unique tile range, in this particular tile range, where she hits this character and 3 tiles behind this character. So in this case, she will be able to get rid of these 3 soldiers right here. So I'm going to place her afterwards, but I need to place her in the middle, right? Because after Celia get rid of this guy, right? she cannot be on the top, she wants to be in the middle as follows. So basically you are configuring your ally to move in this particular order, followed by, in this case I'll have Justia, maybe we just use hit the most front. By then I think all of these soldiers would have died, we'll just be left with the guy at the most back, which is this dude right here. Most likely we'll have Justia and Carlson to just do single hit. I think that should be able to kill that guy. But just to be safe, yeah, I think we should be able to. So let's go. Let's see if everything goes according to plan. Alright. So first things first, Arena's buff. Okay, so everybody gets the attack buff, the crit rate buff. Celia's gonna move. Bam. So we have 2 KO. Oh. So notice we have more KO there than intended, right? So the preview that we saw earlier didn't take into calculation of the buff. In that case, Arena's buff. Alright, that's something that that I forgot to mention as well. So every time your character applies buffs, the preview don't really take that into calculation. The preview always take the raw damage into calculation. So if you have buffs going on, in that case, that was a good thing because that means your Celia has much more one-shot fire potential. But certain cases, if you're trying to calculate and plan accordingly, it can be quite bad. So you want to take like those buffs into consideration as well. You might want to like calculate in your brain as well, right? So something to consider. Now, as to set up your characters in terms of the party, it doesn't matter as much. You click on this particular button right here, right? If you guys can't see, it's this face, click, and then you can set up, you can bring 5 characters as you can see. You can choose replace if you want to take out certain characters. Let's say you don't want to bring Arenas, you can take her out. And you can choose to put someone else in. For example, you want to bring, let's say I want to put Shera. So I'll bring Shera and then I'll just press confirm. So that's how you can replace your characters. You can drag them around in the party as follows, but I don't think this order matters as much. It's just the first one will always be the one that's in the most front in this case. If you like Shera's chibi, you want to use her and you want to like interact with her more often. If you want to use someone like, for example, Celia's chibi, alright, you put her at the most front. In that case, you get her as a chibi in front. That's pretty much it. There's no advantage in terms of arranging them right here, but mostly it's just in the battle whether you want to arrange them to go first or not. Okay, so let's showcase a little bit more in terms of, fighting against these particular undead and enemies. So I want to talk a little bit about the defensive side of things. Alright, something that you want to learn how to do is also look at what the enemies can do to you. Alright, not just look at what you can do to the enemy. So right here, I'm going to plan everything accordingly. I'll have my Celia moving first. Alright, look at this. We have an AOE, so I'm going to use my skill. Right, and then I have Justia afterwards. I'm going to use this, double the attack. Now here's one trick that you can use to see whether you can KO an enemy or not. You have to use a little bit of mathematics. I know it's a bit complicated, right? So look at this enemy. It says here 336 HP, right? So which enemy is that? That enemy is this one. You can clearly tell it's this particular dude right here. He left with 40 HP, right? So obviously he's left with 40 HP. So you can use something like a Carlson. For example, my Carlson can do 66. So this will get rid of him if you add up 66 is more than 40. Alright, so that's how you want to like try to calculate and also gauge how much you can do to an enemy to get rid of them afterwards. Now in this particular battle, you can see if I try to look at the enemy, I know this guy, this is the boss, right? This boss right here. If I click on him, this boss is gonna one-shot my middle character, and I don't want that to happen. Alright, I don't want my Carlson to die either. So I will need to try to defend against this boss's attack as well. So you also need to look at the enemy as well, not just trying to focus on offense, but focus on defense as well. So this is what I like about the game. It adds complexity to the game. Yes, it can be a bit too complicated for some people, but I do like this approach. So I'm going to put Carlson in the middle. So this way the boss is going to do 340 HP to my Carlson, but I'm still alive. That's all that matters. Alright, I'm going to do this. So my Celia will do 56 plus Justia definitely will be able to one-shot this guy, right? Because this guy is going to get destroyed with the combination of Celia and Justia. And then we're just left with the remaining middle one. In this case, we're just going to use Grey for the skip. Carlson, I'm going to use this particular skill right here to decrease my incoming physical damage. And then I'm going to use this girl right here. Alright, So let's go. This is my first phase. So the most left 2 enemies, they will die for sure. These 2, based on calculation, right? Alright, but the rest will survive. Carlson is gonna take hit from the middle. Alright, we do reduce the enemy's incoming damage. Okay, that definitely helps. Definitely helps a lot. Whew, that's a lot of damage to my Rubia right there. Alright, Carlson is a good tank because of that. Okay, so now it's my turn again. So this time, what do? I'm gonna move her. I cannot cast my spell, right? Just because I am silenced. Okay, so always look at the status as well. So the green ones are usually buffs, and the red ones are debuffs. You can also look at enemy as well. For example, this enemy, you can see right here there's a green buff on this guy, right? This guy has red buff. I did apply a debuff in my Celia, so you can click on the red buff right here. You can see attack is decreased. Celia's this particular skill decreased attack by 35%, right? So this guy has a green buff, that means he got a buff, knockback immune. Okay, so the rest, some of them has debuff, but yep, that's how you want to always look at the buffs and debuffs that the enemies have. Same goes for allies as well. So in this case, my Rubia cannot cast any spell whatsoever, but it's okay. I'm gonna use my Justia to get rid of these 2 front. Alright, so Justia plus Rubia will be able to get rid of these 2. And then the boss after this will still... Oh, this will be able to KO my Carlson. Okay, that's really scary. Carlson is most likely going to die. Sacrificial in this case, but it doesn't matter. So in this case, somebody has to be the sacrifice, and he has to be a Carlson, sadly. Alright. So it's okay though, we get rid of them. Alright, left with 1 Finn. Ooh, Carlson is still alive. Okay, I'm glad that he didn't die. Oh yeah, because one thing to consider, right? When the boss, this KO that you see, it doesn't take into account your buffs. In this case, my Carlson has a buff, right? The decreased incoming physical damage by 45%. That one just wear off, so it's no longer here. But it's been 2 turns already, right? So that one, when the boss hits you, like this is based upon pure without any buffs or debuffs. So you always need to take that into calculation as well. So you gotta like try to gauge yourself and calculate yourself in the head. These things are always, they can get super complicated, right? Alright, Carlson is donezo. Alright, I'm gonna try to use normal skill. I'm gonna arrange them in this order. So the chain do matter. So ideally, how you want to take advantage of the chain is you always want to place these stronger characters at the back. So that way the person that chains more is going to do more damage. So in that case, Grey will most likely die after this, but it's okay. So look at this. So now we're trying to chain, 2 chain damage. So this is going to do... Alright, so 5 chain damage. And then we have Justia going in afterwards. So 6 chain damage. That means she will be the one doing the most damage at the end. So you want... If you're trying to maximize your chain, ideally, you want to put your strongest, highest damage dealing character at the back of the chain, if it makes sense, to maximize the damage. So that's just the idea here. If you're attacking one single target, in this case 1 boss, that's how you want to approach things. Alright, so I hope you guys find this informative. I hope the video is not too long. I'm going to try to edit it down. Right now, raw video is 23 minutes. I need to reduce it a little bit. It's definitely a bit too long. Maybe cut out some less important parts. So yeah, subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video. I intend to make more different guides for sure. I definitely do enjoy playing the game. Again, subscribe, give this video a like. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.